All right. Happy Monday, everyone. Hope you can all hear me. A lot to take into the market for these last 24 hours. I'm going to quickly start with crypto and then I'm going to go to Forex and I'm going to do the remainder of the alts. So pay attention for the whole thing here. All right. So Bitcoin, this range is now completely invalid. Not interested into it. Whatsoever. Demand stays. We SFP'd this hourly low, and overall we are expecting to go higher. It seems as if we may have formed a very local distribution here just because we are in supply, but nevertheless there is quite a bit of demand below us, so just be aware. I am expecting higher. Why am I expecting higher is for this exact reason, which I am about to show you right now. USDT dominance. Obviously, we're in a higher time frame distribution schematic, which is so far playing out quite nicely. We've deviated the range, and now we've clearly come back into the range. And we can see right here, we actually broke structure to bullish, indicating that alts could go lower, and then we immediately broke back to bearish, indicating alts can now go higher. And we've created some really clean supply above us as well. Just something to be aware of there. Yeah, so overall I'm expecting alts as well as Bitcoin to go higher in the meantime. There's no real clean demand here, so we can go, yeah, there's nothing really holding USDT dominance up for now, and I am expecting it to go lower. So given I do expect alts to go higher, including Bitcoin, this range here could be actually a fairly decent indication of this, if it will get confirmed or not. Obviously, it's a very low time frame range. It is a Model 1. All right, not the best drawing there. I will rectify this. Okay, we have a Model 1 here. With a structure break right there. So as of here, you're allowed to enter. It is somewhat counter context based on what USDT dominance is doing, but it is in a short. Return to zone is decent, but just have that in the back of your head that this can fail just because of how bearish of a move USDT dominance just created. So yeah, just expect this to fail. If it doesn't, then well done. Good trade. But this is a very low time frame move. Yeah, it's been going for seven hours until break of structure. So we will see what happens. But given Bitcoin has temporarily distributed, and if it does distribute, you can even expect it to go all the way as far down as this demand and mitigate it and then go higher, because this is just a higher low for a higher high, and then it can continue creating higher lows and high highs and moving up. But this aligns really nicely with BNB, which is something that I was monitoring, and I haven't entered it yet. We pre-planned it yesterday. If you watch my market check, you feel free to watch it again. But yeah, we kind of pre-planned this, and it is still valid, but there's a few reasons as to why I would not be taking this. First reason is very similar to Bitcoin. We have quite a bit of demand below, and I think there's even been more demand get created in the meantime here. So for this reason, I would not be taking this, but it is just something that I would like to monitor. And then secondly, if I was to trade the overall higher time frame model, this whole move, I don't like how it has confirmed. One, I mean, you can just look at this off the bat. It looks very market structure like. It doesn't really look like a rangy bound price action. It's just straight higher highs and higher lows. And also, I don't like when price gets confirmed above our most recent tap. So given this is a Model 3, I would like the confirmation to be below this second tap, but this confirmation is quite a bit above our second tap. So I can very much expect something like this to happen. Maybe this local range gets confirmed and then we just continue to go higher and follow USDT's inverse correlation of USDT going lower and us going higher. So USDT dominance. So yeah, that's why I'm not too worked up on this local distribution. If you caught this in real time and managed to scalp it, well done. Valid. Just de-risk here because price can very much continue going higher. And it kind of even already looks like it's continuing to go higher. I am not looking to re-enter on this, as I missed the entry here, which is once, and this model itself isn't the cleanest. It's more so just knowing the context. I would not be looking to re-enter this, but this is just some food for thought I wanted to share at the start early on. Yeah, just based on the overall market context. Be careful to not get trapped in shorting because USDT dominance has absolutely plummeted. And yeah, I think, and Bitcoin is trending up, so there's no, like, read the chart for what it is. I'll bring this down. Hopefully I haven't deleted it. Did I delete it? Nah, surely not. I know it's somewhere here. Did I seriously delete this? All right. We're going to pretend it's deleted. Oh no, sorry. BME didn't have one. My bad. But yeah, so when looking at Bitcoin, like, Bitcoin is technically trading up still. Yeah, like, this range low is our market structure hourly low. So actually, no, I lied. Disregard that. My apologies. We don't have two valid consecutive candles going up. So our hourly low is here. That is our most recent hourly low. So given that is our hourly low, it can go into favor for our BNB short because Bitcoin can go all the way down here and continue its hourly uptrend. It's allowed to do that. Whereas if it goes that far down, like this BNB move can also kind of go that far down. But yeah, there's just quite a bit of demand below, which is something that you should just all pay attention to. So yeah, that is crypto. I'm going to come back, and ETH is actually looking nice. This is no longer valid. I'm going to come back and do crypto properly, but we will get into Forex. And yeah, ETH has left behind even more demand. This is actually quite valid. So yeah, all right. We will continue with crypto after I dive into Forex. We'll start with cake when we get there. But for now, let's start with gold. This range is invalid, and my overall thesis for gold at the moment remains. I am expecting it to hit this supply above. I just want to double check that we are still bearish on the hourly, because if there's no valid structure here, then we are still bearish. Okay, structure is broken right there. So we are now bullish on the hourly. Something to just be aware of. And we have not yet broken 2-hour structure. We're still bearish on the 2-hour. So yeah, this remains as is for gold. Overall, still a bearish landscape. We have obviously left behind demand, so we could see a potential sentiment change, at least for now. So just be aware there. And it's obviously left behind a lot of demand. There is also supply here. So right now for gold, it's just a matter of keeping an eye on the chart, having your alert set, which is exactly what we have done. Yeah, and then let me zoom out once more for you guys. Like, yeah, clear, like the chart does look quite bearish, but similar to Bitcoin, oh, sorry, similar to actually USDT dominance, we've now, but it's a reverse shell. We've deviated this high time frame potential accumulation. So we could be looking to accumulate. So just keep an eye out there. All right. Silver. I think this potential distribution model is, yeah, gone. Still bullish. Are we? I think we are now bullish on the 4-hour as well. Yes. Valid sentiment change there. We are now bullish on the 4-hour. I may have said it before, but comment down if you think I should start streaming live on any streaming platform. Therefore, you know, you guys aren't having to watch the replay and you've got the charts next to you essentially and can chart up as I'm charting it up as well. What I do want to double check is if there's some refined supply in here. Maybe. I wouldn't be overly too certain. This has been mitigated on the lower time frame. But regards to more refined supply or like overlapping supply, not really. Not at all. So I've just set an alert of where the true inefficiency in this supply block lies. Perfect. And yeah, we're obviously bullish on the 4-hour as well. Daily is still bearish. So I wouldn't necessarily be like, we can see it. We can see the chart distributing here ever so slightly. I wouldn't necessarily rush to short whatever's happening here just because of the supply above. And it's quite like, it's like a hefty chunk of supply. So just be a little bit aware there. I will still set my alerts just to see how price moves. Like right now, we're creating a beautiful return to zone, but I can expect us to do something like what we're doing now, and then just bang, explode up higher, and then mitigate this supply, and then maybe here form some sort of, you know, distribution. That's a terrible drawing, but you get what I'm trying to say. Other than that, yeah, in the short term, we have shifted to bullish. So just set your alerts and pay attention there. Oil is deep in demand, to say the least. We can start looking, here is probably a good time to start looking for accumulation models should they happen. I just want to double check if we're still bullish on the daily. Okay, yeah, this was down there, that's fine. Yeah, so we've got this accumulation model. We're obviously bullish on the daily, so we can expect a higher low for a high at some point. We have, however, left supply in order to mitigate this demand, which is always a sign that price is potentially weakening. So I would just be careful with any sort of longs. Make sure the breakup structure is really, really clean. Yeah, don't overlook any minor supply in here, as there might be some minor supply. In terms of, yeah, In terms of our range, Asia highs are sitting nicely up here, which I don't actually mind. So this could actually be a semi-decent low time frame scalp. This is kind of my only extreme liquidity POI. It's not the cleanest whatsoever because we're not abiding by our 6 candle rule. And you can see right there that there's only one consecutive downwards candle. For valid market structure, we need a minimum of 2 going down and 2 going up, which is not the case there. And in regards to any sort of demand, this can be used as valid demand. Nothing on the 10. Okay, so it looks like we have this 5-minute OBIF. Yeah, this is a valid OBIF on the 5-minute. I'll just add the text to that, just my own. 5-minute OBIF. Return to zone so far looks semi-decent. That's actually not bad. Yeah, this could be a potential accumulation. Absolutely. So we will see what happens here. Our alerts having said, I would not look too long until this 5-minute OBIF has been mitigated. If we just sweep this liquidity and then break of structure, no matter how strong the break of structure is, I will not be longing. That is not how I trade. To be fair, you can even bring the return to zone from up there. Like, that's actually not too bad. Yeah, that's quite good. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out on oil, to be honest. Keep a big eye out on oil. Yeah, and then Asia high up here. Yeah, so very, very identical chart essentially. Which would allow us an entry of something like this, which could be decent. Could be quite decent. So yeah, that is the pre-planning for oil. Some form of supply here, but it hasn't really grabbed anything to the left, and it's also not. It is supply. At the end of it is supply. We could reject from this. Something to just be aware of. If we can come up here and mitigate it, this would be beautiful. But we will see. Yeah. So it could be a potential long here on oil. We'll just pay attention. We've got our alert set. And on to the next AUD CHF. This accumulation is still technically at play, although I don't really like how we've come up so far up and are now pulling back. Have we broken hourly to bullish? I mean to bearish there? No, we haven't. Still bullish on the hourly. Still bearish on the 4 hour. So not a whole lot has changed here. Yeah, honestly, not a whole lot has changed. I'm still just paying attention and waiting for that extreme liquidity to get taken. Nothing is interesting from a local standpoint. And then we had this AUD CAD potential short, which we tried to size up on market open. Did that count? There you go, rejected. Boom. Yeah, it was one of those semi-counter context moves. Even at the time of charting this, we were bullish on the hourly. And then yeah, what I didn't like here was the range was very similar to what a lot of the alts were doing, including Bitcoin itself, which I'll quickly bounce back to. It's just very uptrend like, you know. This isn't a valid range. This is just upwards market structure, and that's pretty much what AUD CAD was doing and is doing. It's kind of just creating those higher highs and higher lows. So not a whole lot at the moment. It's left some demand in here. So overall, this pair clearly it wants to continue going higher. It has mitigated demand, so that's something worth knowing. Yeah, a lot of demand. A lot of demand to be aware of. We have distributed as well. Yeah, so we've mitigated quite a bit of this supply. I'll remove that because it's not really required anymore. So obviously still bullish on the hourly. I want to see if we've shifted to bullish on the 4 hour at all. Yes, we have. This can be now deemed bullish on the 4 hour. And yeah, we're officially bullish across the board here. Not a sign of bearishness in sight. So can definitely use this as opportunities to look for pullbacks in when price comes back into this demand. Should we create an accumulation model? Definitely look at that from a potential longing opportunity. Yeah, other than that, everything else remains bullish. So alerts are set. Alerts are set and just be patient. GBP AUD. I don't think we're quite bullish anymore here. Yeah, so structure was broken there. We're now bearish on the hourly. However, we are still... Hold on a minute. That's valid structure, so we're bearish on the... We're bearish on the hourly and the 4 hour. I'm just trying to remember as to why I didn't change this on here. That's a strong wick, very strong wick. Daily low is, we're far from the daily low. We've obviously broken to bullish. So this high time frame accumulation on GBP/AD, as much as it has been confirmed here, yeah, it's confirmed. I'm trying to cling on to the fact that this might come back down, but it's not. I don't think it will. I think we're going to complete this at some point. I'll set an alert here, and it's the most ever so slight valid tab. It's a valid tab, but it's just one of those, one of those instances where you're like, man, like, surely that can't be valid. Surely we go a bit deeper, but no. Okay, we're already in demand. Like, we've mitigated that there. Maybe we mitigate something here. Asia high is there. We'll see what happens here. I don't like how this refined area is kind of like just a bit too far out of this range. It's still possible the price can weak it, but if the demand was a bit more closer, feels like somewhere here, I'd be like, nice, this could be a fantastic tap. Got a great POI for a tap 2 or tap 3. But then also, nevertheless, like, we have mitigated the overall demand, so that's something that should also be aware of. It doesn't have to come back for the refined as much as it can. But yeah, alerts are set, so we will see how price moves. Accumulations are on the cards here, but yeah, we've only been ranging for not the worst 5 hours. All right, GBP JPY. Once again, we're in a confirmed distribution, but price is just creating the most annoying range we have ever seen. Will this be a range? Maybe. I will use this for now as a potential distribution model. Heavy demand though in here. An hourly OBIF, which is sitting in equilibrium of the range, so I would be careful with shorting anything here. Yeah, until this demand gets mitigated. But it's kind of created that very local tap 3. It's not nice, but it's a model 1. Boom. So yeah, ideally we do something like this. Like really run through this and then slowly come back up, and then maybe around here somewhere grab some sort of extreme and flush. That's quite optimal for this pair. But as always, only time will tell. We've got our alert set. That is the best we can do. And that is it for now. Yeah, not a whole lot more that I'm too interested in or want to be caught up in. And then I think the sentiment remained the same there. Okay, we don't have it for this one, that's fine. We already know where we're looking to go. USD CHF. We are bearish on the hourly. We're bearish across quite a few levels here. Definitely will not be looking at this as an accumulation at all. Like we are supply galore is being left here. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of it. Not a whole lot to do. Sentiment is still bearish. We've got heaps of demand below, so if we can catch a distribution, catch it. But other than that, I would not be looking to long anything at all whatsoever at the moment. Even with Asia high just there, like, yeah, not for the time being. Or allegedly bullish on the hourly here, which might be right. Maybe. Surely not. No, we are, because we've wicked that. Fair enough. And then I assume we're still bearish on the 4 hour because there's no way there's any structure in there. Correct. Yep. Okay. Okay. Still bearish. We're just bullish on the hourly, but given that, this could be a potentially nice opportunity for a distribution. There's demand below, which price can mitigate, although it has left the demand below with the sole purpose of potentially shifting sentiment to bullish. So yeah, we got demand there, which is valid and clean. But the same thing, like, let's not get too caught up in ourselves over trying to short here. Let's just see what price decides to do. In terms of Asia low is here, which is nice. That is a nice liquidity target. London low is also a nice liquidity target at the moment. So maybe we get a confirmation. I feel like it's kind of too far-fetched to get a confirmation during New York, just because by the time New York happens, I feel like we're going to be like somewhere here. Sorry, we'll be like around here for New York, so it's already kind of stretching the range a little bit too much for my liking. And we have taken or swept extreme, so I'm always a little bit more skeptical when we've swept extreme liquidity and are now moving back up and haven't actually completed the distribution. But in terms of valid POIs, where can extreme liquidity be? So the supply here has been mitigated, and then we have this as valid extreme liquidity. So I will not be looking to trade unless we sweep this extreme liquidity from up here. Other than that, it's not of interest to me. Yeah, it doesn't look pretty whatsoever at all. Yeah, sentiment remains. Like, we can expect us to go lower, but it's not a clean range. Our alerts are set regardless, so we will see what happens. Euro NZD, what are we saying? Are we still bullish on the... If we're still bullish on the hourly, this can obviously... If you guys are smart enough to see what I'm seeing, then we might be on a accumulation here. Yep. It's a weak break, but we've SFP'd that. Yeah, we're still bullish on the hourly. And even if you can deem any of these a break, then we've just broken back up to bearish here. So yeah, we are bullish. And given so, here is the range that I caught from, or that I noticed straight away. We're obviously bullish, so keep an eye out there. Bearish is daily. Daily is bearish. We're bearish on the daily. We're daily on the bearish, guys. We're bearish on the daily, so there's our break, but it's a very weak break. So maybe we can higher low for a higher high. So we'll see what happens here in terms of this accumulation model. This is my extreme liquidity. It's about as like clean as an extreme liquidity as you can get. Oh, to an extent. But yeah, I will allow this as extreme liquidity. That is fine. Alerts are also set, so we will see. Yeah, this could be a... This looks to be a New York confirmation, if anything. I don't think we're going to see anything here. Could you look at a potential distribution into an accumulation? Maybe. I don't think this is valid. I have a feeling we're just a bit too far out of our range values here. So let me double check. Yeah, definitely not a valid range, but yeah, keep an eye out on the overall higher time frame potential accumulation range. And yeah, let's just see if we get that return to zone down into a potential third tap. That is it for now. CHF JPY. We're quite... yeah, we are... We're very much so bullish on the hourly. Although I have a feeling we might still be bearish on the 4-hour. Yep. Yeah, overall still bearish, and obviously we're bearish on the higher time frames as well, with the exception of the weekly. Is that correct? Yeah, that is very much correct. We're still, yeah. I wouldn't be looking for any distributions at the moment. Unless there's something in here. Maybe. Yeah, I feel like price is going to want to come back and hit that higher time frame. Oh, we have something. POV white is super important to look at all time frames. Yeah, so we do have some some supply up here which we might actually reject from. So this will be interesting to see if we reject from it. Um, yeah, I'm kind of just waiting. Like we have left demand as well. We've got some structured demand there. Is it the valid? No, it's a valid here. That's fine. So at least for now, like we are looking to go higher in the short term, but if we don't reject from this, I'm quite confident that we will reject from this higher time frame supply, which would ultimately mean that the 4-hour time frame will remain bearish. Yeah, other than that, not much more that I want to do in CHFJPY. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We will very much so see what happens. GBP NZD. Okay, hourly is bearish. Is the 4-hour bearish though? The 4 hours bearish as well. Would you look at that? Daily is bearish as well. Yeah. Yes. We're borderline bearish here. So given we are at an SFP, price does have reason to come back up. I don't like how it's front ran this demand. Yeah, I'm not overly the biggest fan of this. We've got equal liquidity below. Yeah, we'll see if we sweep this. It is a very clean model. Like right now, it's a very, very clean model. I won't beat around the bush, if you will. It's honestly a clean model. And if we have Asia high, this is actually really, really nice. Like we have that rainbow. Yeah, we have this rainbow liquidity we've spoken about before. And given it looks this nice, I'm very much so willing to take a counter context accumulation model. If I was to look again, we're buried, like we are bearish across the whole board. That's the only thing I don't like about this whole thing, is we're bearish across the whole board. But that liquidity just looks really, really nice. The only thing selling me on this is the liquidity. Context, it's a counter context trade, but the liquidity is there. The only other thing that you would need to pay attention to, if there's supply as well, then there is supply. And I've said it before. I've got in my journal, if there is supply, no trade. That simple. And there is supply. What does that mean? No trade. Yeah. The liquidity just looks so nice. Like look at that. We'll mark it all because New York, boom. New York high. Wrong template. New York high, bam. And then we have London high from the previous day. Even up there, like that is really, really nice liquidity. London high, bam. London High. Yes, replace it, thank you. And then we have Asia High. Boom. Like, you can't tell me this is not clean liquidity. This is simply beautiful to look at. Hence the name. It's a rainbow, guys. It is a rainbow. Look at that. This looks so nice. If it doesn't get taken out in this accumulation, it's going to get taken out at some point. Like, this is just beautiful. All right, what we need to happen is a break of structure here after sweeping extreme liquidity, and the break of structure has to be super clean, where it literally tells me that a market maker is just about to finesse everyone, and we're going to run this up and sweep all these session highs. That is the only thing making me even a half look at this. But as of now, there is supply up here, which we should be aware of. That's been mitigated. Yeah, there's no... Yeah, outside of that, that's kind of the only supply POI. Unless there's something here which I've missed. I don't think there is, no. Yeah, and you got like a little 1 minute. A little cheeky 1 minute OBIF here. Never mind, that has been mitigated. No cheeky. All right, so yeah, that is the plan. We need a clean sweep and an accumulation model being confirmed only when we have that clean break of structure. We'll move that to the top for now. And and there's more things I don't like about this than I do like. I really like those rainbow session highs, but then I also don't like how we've just if this all happened after mitigating some of this demand, then I'll be like, fair enough, this could be quite nice. But given that we front ran this demand, I'm kind of like, price still has a lot more reason to go lower. So, yeah. I think we spoke about that as well. We did. USD CAD. Yeah, so this is kind of just forming a potential range after SFPing these. We're actually now bullish on the daily. We are, because as much as we SFP'd it, the second candle closed bullish. So we are all of a sudden, yeah, and I've actually written that there. So yeah, I think we're bullish across the whole board here, which hasn't, yeah, bullish across the whole board. Given this, we might be able to catch a accumulation model here. I do obviously want to see what more refined POIs there are. I'm also going to move this to standing. Perfect. All right. But yeah, let's just double check first that if there's any more refined. There's probably some like refined extreme liquidity, if anything. Yeah, we got extreme liquidity, which has not been swept yet, but it will get swept pretty soon. Regardless, I'm not looking for a long until this extreme demand gets mitigated. I don't like how Asia low and high have been taken here. That's the first thing I've noticed. And then if this hasn't been mitigated, then I'm not interested in trading this. As much as it might work out, I'm not interested in trading this potential accumulation model. Okay, so it hasn't been mitigated there, unless it's been mitigated on the... No, it hasn't. Good to know. Yeah, so we have supply as well. So this kind of does put me off from trading this as a potential long. So I will just be a bit more patient. And we're also at a very awkward spot of just deviating the range. So a lot of things can happen here. We can just continue pushing up, or we can move back in. Yeah, that is USD CAD. I will just wait for more price development here before rushing a potential trade. I think this was a confirmed model as well, and it was. Yes, we remain bearish here. Yeah, we remain quite bearish, although I'm not a fan. I'm not fond of the price action. We have actually mitigated that demand. Yeah, I'm not fond of the price action, so I'm going to be a bit more patient. That is it for now. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, not a whole lot to look at here. Maybe eventually, something like that. I may as well just set my alert just in case it could happen. Euro GBP. All right, we've ran through all this supply. Is the 4 hour still bearish is my question. Yeah, for now it is. And not too interested in this move here. Yeah, not a whole lot to pick up from Euro GBP. Beautiful, beautiful rejection from supply here. And everything kind of does remain bullish here, but and there's also quite a few POIs to monitor. Yeah, just be patient there. Not a whole lot. We've even created supply in the meantime, so just one of those ones where we're just gonna have to pay attention to the levels of supply and or demand that might get hit. We are still bearish on the daily. So yeah, like overall, I'd still be looking for distributions here. But there's just nothing at the moment that's got me eager for a distribution model. So I will wait. NZD CAD doesn't look like anything I want to trade here either. Have a feeling the alley might be bullish now, guys. It sure is. Is the 4 hour bullish as well? Not yet, just the alley. And then we do have demand here. That is it. AUD USD. Well, we've left a lot of demand here. Context remains bullish. Daily still bearish. Yeah, I have a feeling that's probably true. Yeah. Daily is still bearish. But nothing locally that I'm interested in. Yeah. Nothing locally I'm interested in. So, yeah, that is Forex and commodities. To summarize, we're paying close attention to this oil long, which actually looks quite nice. It does align with our daily context. It's in demand. Like, this is the time where I expect a bounce. So yeah, just pay attention. We've got the 5-minute OBIF there. Asia highs there. Like overall, it's a semi decent. It's a decent model to trade. So just keep our alerts. Extreme liquidity has obviously been taken now. Yeah, we're just monitoring a mitigation and a clean break of structure from our 5-minute OBIF. And yes, we do have supply there, but it's just something that we're gonna have to monitor upon mitigation of the supply. And then the second, if we get a break of structure back down after mitigating supply, then that is our signal to de-risk. And then other than that, it's just this very counter context GBP NZD long that I'm looking into, and yeah, this rainbow liquidity chain is the only thing enticing for me to, like, if I draw this return to zone, like, tell me that's not clean. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Make sure you guys have this chart up as well, so you don't miss these opportunities. And now we will finish off with crypto, as we said. Plan here has slightly changed. We're still quite bullish we are bullish in Bitcoin at the moment. On the hourly, I think we're a while away from being bullish on the 4-hour. Yeah, quite a while away there. But yeah, at least in the short term, expect alts to go higher, and Bitcoin is allowed to form this very local distribution model. It very much so is, as it can just be a case of forming a higher low for a higher high. And that was correlating with BNB, which we did not take. But there is so much demand here, which is, what was preventing me from taking this, and I didn't really want to take it. It also looks a lot like market structure, like just upwards market structure. So yeah, let's get into the remainder of our alts. This whole range here, I'm no longer interested in. There's probably going to be a lot of this in the charts today. A lot of this with probably a lot of demand. This is valid. AUD USD. Okay, it's just one of those delayed alerts. XLM here, still on track for a Model 1. In this, yeah, given that we look at this as a tap 1, these two legs here, we look at them as a tap 1 for our higher time frame model. So yeah, we will see what happens. Although yeah, it has also created quite a bit of demand in this process, so just something to be a little bit aware of. Let's have a look at Tau. Same thing, range. Ooh, range was invalid, and it's done a little cheeky 3 tap here and just absolutely plummeted. We do have demand here. Yeah, not a whole lot for Tau. Just let it do its thing. Similar for BNB, which we just spoke about. Not a fan of Link. Although it might form a local distribution in line with Bitcoin. I just want to see how long this range has been going on for. So yeah, you might get a little 9-hour scalp here. Nine-hour scalp back into the range. Yeah, not the cleanest. I'm not gonna focus too much on it. Valid. Yeah, valid right there. That's fine. Let's have a look at Ton. Okay, I'll have to come back to that. Sol. Invalid. Not a whole lot I'm too interested in for Sol. I'm happy to use this as demand just for now. Sui. Same thing, range invalid here. And demand created below. It has been mitigated ever so slightly, but same story applies. We can quite evidently see where the remainder of the range, where the remainder of this demand lies, where the inefficiency is shown and has not been filled yet. So maybe a retracement there. Fart coin. Not too interested here. Yeah, it's just not that clean at the end of the day. I'm looking for clean models, guys. Clean models. If it ain't clean, I'm not trading it. Aave. Aave is just expanded horrendously here. We'll let it do its thing. WIF could be looking okay for this high time frame distribution, so we will continue to let it do its thing here. It's not necessarily high time frame, but it is in an awkward spot. Yeah, it'll be really important to see how this pair comes back down. All right, Asta, greatest pair on planet Earth, guys. Asta. Oh, we have some little demand there. A wee bit of structure demand right there. Don't fade Asta, guys. Greatest pair on planet Earth. All right. Render. Bam. Model done. Litecoin is just pulling back into range. Doge. This is still technically speaking at play. And it has even been mitigated. Ooh la la. But, and I hate when this happens, and I'm not going to trade. There is demand here. It's not clean demand, but it is demand. It's an expansive move into that third tap. How do I exit this? It is an expansive move into that third tap. It's even valid from like here. Like, it's just not the cleanest move. As much as it was some like very low time frame distribution model locally. Not the cleanest move, but so if this completes itself, I'll be like, damn. Yeah, it's just way too aggressive price action coming into that third tap. It's that simple. It's too aggressive. Way too aggressive. Virtual. Same thing. It's just not looking that interesting for me at the moment. A lot of these alts aren't tickling my fancy, if you will. Quant as well. Not a whole lot. XMR, not a whole lot. Maybe something on XRP, maybe. Yeah, even XRP, like, I'm going to need a demand mitigation here. Bitcoin Cash. Not interesting. And then Trump has completed that distribution and will continue going lower, just as we predicted. And yeah, that's it. So to finalize, not a whole lot. Like there's some movements happening in crypto. Main focus for me is still very much Forex at the moment. I'll check on that oil setup once more, and then we will call it a day. I won't mind if it like wicks and mitigates that supply. It just removes an error. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. Stay alert, stay disciplined, and then I will catch you all tomorrow. Peace.